Hello, everyone. I've recently received a new assignment to be a department chair of the communication department, which is great, except for I have a lot of meetings, and I had a meeting dropped on me last week that is for Thursday and Friday offsite in Island Park all day long from 7 in the morning and Thursday morning until Friday late afternoon. So I'm putting together this video to be our class for this Thursday. And so roll with me on this one. So here we go. We're gonna do this all together. So question of the day. So I'm putting this in this discussion board as you see here. So if you look down discussion board, you'll see the question of the day is what is your go-to source for news? So reply to that question. Just hit reply to that question. Don't make a whole new one, and share what your go-to source is. And this way also I'll know if you were here today. So, or at least you didn't have to be in class, but that you're here going through this stuff with me. Okay, question number one. What is your go-to source for news? For me, I have a lot of different sources online, but typically I'm looking for, if it's local, I look at East Idaho News a lot. If it's national, I look at sources like KSL and Deseret News, and then a smattering of a lot of different things that come from different sources. Okay, our demos this week, we haven't forgotten you. So it's Alex and Josie. So what I'm going to have you do is go and watch their demos. And in the discussion board here under question two, share one thing you learned from each demo. So reply in the discussion board for Alex and Josie. Next week, it's Catherine and Rose. So be prepared next week, Catherine and Rose, for your demos of the week. For our weekly news share, I'll have you do the same thing. This week it's Catherine, Parker, and Emery. So if you go and check those out, and then I'd have you just in this question number three, share one thing you liked or disliked or just observe from each news video, and then reply in the discussion. Tell me what you thought about that. And the main reason for looking at these is to see different ways that people share and report on news. Okay, this week is the assignment. We're going to be you on camera. So the question is, should you appear in your stories? The answer is often yes, but this week we're going to work on some live stream reporting, which will be fun. So let's talk about you on camera. So first, let's watch a quick comedic showing of what some reporters do for what are called stand-ups in their stories.
Caroline thought there was someone in her home, so she came in the bedroom, she shut the door, and she jumped out this very window. She landed on her feet 2 stories down and called the police. Who was following her? Absolutely nobody. This looks like your typical finished basement. Plenty of toys for the young ones and a nice comfy couch to take a nap on. But you know what? There's something you can't see down here. Extremely high levels of radon. And it will kill you. Why is this in here? And who put it in here? I'm going to find out. And if you'd like to donate clothes, you can dial 1-800-753-3463 and then punch in extension 257394. That will get you Lori, and then Lori will forward you on to the right person where you can make that donation. You know, staying healthy in the wintertime really starts here at the sink with washing your hands. If you don't, these germs may kill you. This road is one of the deadliest in all of Westchester. But it's not the cars doing the killing, it's Canadian geese. We do it every day. We walk out our door. But what you don't know is it might kill you. In 1988, De La Soul sang a popular song called Potholes in My Lawn. Now, in 2011, residents in this neighborhood are singing Potholes in My Road. Now, they don't have a recording contract, but their voices are being heard. We're live in Westchester. Gary Vosant, News Action News.
All right, this is pretty silly. This gentleman here is actually a stand-up comedian who was a television reporter, and he took his experience as a TV reporter to make fun of what sometimes happens. So this is a question I'm going to ask for you. Question number 4 in the discussion board. What do you think of the fake stand-ups from Gary Vosant, which is a made-up name? The fake stand-ups are funny because they make fun of silly reporter stand-ups. So what do you think of that? And maybe what have you seen? And we'll talk more about when and when not to do stuff like this and what is silly and what's more legitimate. Okay, we call it a stand-up because it's not technically at the beginning or end of a story. It's called a bridge. You hear about a stand-up, you usually think of someone standing with a microphone in hand, looking you in the eye and telling you something. Typically, we want to be a little bit better than that. So we use what's called a bridge, or in this case, what we're going to use in our assignment this week is a live-to-camera presentation. So a bridge is to connect one thought to another to illustrate something. So we're on camera and we're sharing something, we're showing something off, trying to involve our audience. So we try to involve the scene behind us. So not just stand in front of a tree or something like that. Want to show how something works. Just make sure whatever we share is relevant to the situation. Okay, let's check out another example here.
These guys have everything. Full tabs, Bingo, Double, Tri-West Lotto, Idaho Powerball, and every scratch ticket imaginable. No wonder they're the top seller in Idaho. Well, location doesn't hurt either.
All right, so those are some stand-ups from me for television. We're not going to do TV style exact stand-ups. Ours are more for live stream, maybe a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live, again, for a news organization that is online. So let me share just some more creative ways that some people have done pieces to camera. Here's one example. I'll show you a couple.
This spray that I'm using right here kind of simulates what a lot of us woke up to this morning, and that's an ice over windshield. You can't see too much, can you? Well, in the rush to get to work, what a lot of drivers will do is they'll clear out just a little space so that they can see, but they'll leave lots of other blind spots remaining. Well, not only is that unsafe, it's actually illegal. What you need to do, clear out the entire windshield. You can bet that Rob Sytek is a big fan of blood donation. Let me explain why. In his body, before he was shot, there were about this many units of blood, 14. If he had lost, let's say, 5 of those units of blood without being replaced, doctors say he would have died for sure. By the time the surgeons were done patching up all the holes inside and outside of him, look at how much blood they went through. 91 units of whole blood, plus about another 50 units of this stuff, platelets and plasma.
All right, so you can see these are demonstrations that are a good reason to be on camera. You're explaining something. So think about that as we do our assignment this week. So when you're doing a live broadcast or streaming live, recommend that you use either a shotgun mic or lavalier mic so your hands are free so you're not holding a microphone in your hand. And I don't recommend that you write what you're going to say word for word. So I have some keynotes I'm going to share with you what I'd have you do for our assignment this week. Try to explain to the camera, to people actually. You're looking at the camera, you're actually talking to people. You're going to share information. Don't make it a very serious news report. It's you talking to people, sharing some information. So speak in phrases, share the information in natural ways, and try not to have it memorized, but just have some notes. So, question number 5. Answer this down on the discussion boards. What are some legitimate reasons for a journalist to appear on camera? What do you think? Put some thoughts you have down below and then move on. All right, here's another example of some live work.
Supporters promise a state-of-the-art replacement for the chief. What do they have in mind?
Well, John and Duffy, the new theater will be right here on the same spot as the old one. Now, most residents were very saddened by the loss of the landmark, and city officials want to work quickly to make sure that something good happens out of last weekend's tragedy.
Brian, how soon will construction start?
Well, they need to get going as soon as possible. They have a date to get the new chief open by the first of the year or early in next summer. So as soon as the demolition is finished, they plan on getting going as soon as possible.
Okay, so that was me live. Now, we're not going to have a news anchor tossing out to you, but this is how we're going to do it. We're going to put you in teams of about 4, and I'll have someone pass out some press releases to you, and you're going to look those over, and you're going to come up with a live to camera a report where you're telling people what's going on. So here's the assignment. Prepare quickly and accurately from a press release, a news story. You want to go from 20 to 60 seconds. So definitely more than 20. Cut it off before you get to 60. So I want to be confident on camera. We want to interact smoothly. Now, in this case, we're not going to toss to an anchor back and forth. We did that in another assignment in another class, but we aren't going to do here. So you'll just be you on camera, and one of the other people in your group will be running the camera, pressing record, make sure you're framed up nicely, that kind of stuff. So here's how it's going to work. You're going to come to class. You're going to get a short BYU Idaho-related news story, press release, and given to your group. So each person in your group will have the same story. And you're going to turn that into a 20 to 60 second live report. So the first part of class, you're going to get that, and you're going to take about 20, 25 minutes and prep it. And then as a group, you're going to go find a location somewhere, probably outside of the classroom, where you're going to set up. And each person will take turns sharing their live story. So here's some things to look at. The first things people want to know, the 5 H's and 1 W: who, what, where, when, why, and how. So think about that right off the bat. Read through the release, Where's it going on? What's going on? Where is it? And can you relate all that information? Then, especially if there's a source, like this comes from a university press release, then go ahead and give that source of attribution so it's not just you talking off the top of your head. So here's a professional journalism, a professor, news reporter sharing about going live.
Covering breaking news is tough, and reporting on it live is even tougher. We arrive at the location, get as much information as we can from authorities and neighbors, and now it's time to go live. Here is the way to keep your report organized and smooth. Focus on the 5 W's and H: who, what, where, when, why, and how. Tell the audience who is affected by this story. Tell them what is going on in a couple of sentences: where it's happening, when did it happen, and why and how it happened. And if you don't have an answer for one of these questions from authorities, let the audience know that, saying this information is not available right now. And when we find out more from authorities, we'll let you know.
All right, great advice. So let's go to the next bit here. So here's the basic things you should worry about. Number one, when you're starting your report, where are you? So 5 to 10 seconds. Brother Howard live here on the BYU campus in front of the Sporey building. What are the key details? We just heard that there's going to be an evacuation next week for the Sporey building because of blah, blah, blah. What are the key details? And if there is a what's next, so based on what we know now, what's next? So the Sporey building will be fumigated because it has, bug infestation, whatever it is that the information is. So where are you? What's the lead bit of the story? So you want to get people right off the bat telling them what's going on. So here's a little worksheet that you can use, and this is in the assignment. So you can use this as a basic outline. I'm at location, so I'm Brother Howard here at the Sporey building on the BYU campus, where we just found out that they're going to make a new addition to the Sporey building from a donation from one of our former students. And the donation was $10 million. It's going to be named in their name, according to university sources. That it looks like it's going to be a 20,000-foot addition that will house a broadcast facility. And now reporting live from the Sporey building, I'm Brother Howard. And I have to put back to you, just say reporting live from the Sporey building, I'm Brother Howard. So we're looking for 35 to 45 seconds. You definitely want to practice this, but try to keep it under 60, definitely more than just a few seconds, because then it's not really a report. So you can use that to get you going. Now, this isn't exactly what we're doing, but in the 362 class I used to teach, broadcast performance, we went out and we shot as if live to camera pieces, so you can see what we did. We're a little bit silly on these, but you can get the idea to help you as you're preparing for your live hit.
Over the past few months, BYU Idaho has gone through a couple different changes. One of the biggest ones has been the selling of caffeinated drinks on campus. As we move later into the semester, students get exhausted as studying, but through the selling of caffeinated drinks on campus, hopefully this will help them to tackle that exhaustion.
This is the Roman building on campus. Most people know it as a place where you can learn science and technology. But it has a secret that most people don't know. You see the dome up there? That is actually the campus's Iron Dome missile defense system, in case of any attempted missile strikes. Back to you, Bob.
24 years ago, the Jacob Sporey building burned down during a controlled demolition. The historic building was put on the National Register for Historic Places and was built in 1888. Snow. Love or hate it, there's a lot of it out here in Rexburg, and especially on campus. Now, the school does a good job at trying to shovel snow, as we see all right here on the walkways, but sometimes it leaves a lot of thin ice on the ground, and it's a big slipping hazard. Now, the school does try to translate fix that by just putting down some salt. However, I've noticed, and probably you have as well, that sometimes they just do a questionable job.
Earlier today, bystanders on BYUI campus witnessed grand theft of a unicycle. The witnesses identified a clown known as the Jonquiller, who stole a unicycle off of this bike rack here. Before the Jonquiller was able to make his escape off of the unicycle, he was confronted by a man dressed as a bat. During this physical altercation, the man dressed as a bat unfortunately and tragically slipped on the ice, hit his head, and died. Looks like the Jonquiller won today.
This may seem like an ordinary hallway, but it's not too far, and you might end up somewhere else. Experts warn that spaces like these, where time and reality blur, often described as liminal spaces, can be dangerous for people who might wander upon them. If you end up in a space like this, turn back immediately. People who end up in these liminal spaces often report endless, mostly empty corridors, the sensation of being watched, and worst of all, no reality. Reporting with you live, DSL.
I'm here in what appears to be a never ending beige maze, complete with buzzing fluorescent lights and an unsettling smell of wet carpet. Students across campus have reportedly been no clipping into these so called backrooms, and I'm here to investigate. How are they getting here? Where are they vanishing? And most importantly, how do I get out? Join me as I attempt to navigate this liminal labyrinth, and hopefully don't become the next missing person. Reporting live from somewhere I definitely shouldn't be, I'm Sophie Pettis.
All right, so there you go. Kind of silly, but that was the assignment silly. Now ours isn't meant to be that silly because you have a very specific press release that you're going to share with us. So of course you can have fun with it, but don't get carried away like this group. But you can see what the example was: live to camera, having things prepared, so it's not memorized, and you're trying to just share the information. So once you get to class, you'll get in a group, and I'll have someone there to pass out the assignments. So take 20 minutes to prep your live hit, and then I'll have Brother Vest available so you can get some gear, so you can use the shotgun mic, so you don't have to use the camera mic. So in your group, find an appropriate location, take turns during your live hit, so make sure someone's monitoring the camera and keeping it looking good while you're doing your live hit. Now you can choose to everyone just use someone's phone and then you just share the video afterwards, or you can swap cameras, however you want to do it. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you get your video of you on camera that you can turn in on Canvas. So definitely turn in your live hit on Canvas that you did. And there you go. Okay, so question number 6. If you have questions about the live hit, please reply. So I'm actually going to be in Island Park doing some training, but I will have access to my laptop. So if you have questions, I'll be looking for them in here. So put them in the discussion board. Make sure you share them with me, and so we can help you out. And of course, I will be back on Monday, so before this assignment's due, so you can come and talk to me, or I can answer any questions you have, and we can talk about it then. Okay, here we go. So last bit, you did your widget makers. So what I'd have you do is on your own time, again, you can do it during the class time, but you certainly don't have to be in class. Watch the people in your group, watch their widget maker videos. And if not everyone in your group got it done, then at least 3 people, give feedback to at least 3 people, but try to get everyone in your group and use the sheet of information that's actually on the assignment. Gives you some criteria to give them feedback on. So on this widget maker, definitely want to see something very visual. We'll be looking for matched action, all the things we learned about in class. Okay, well, that will do it. That's the end of the lesson for today. So hopefully you can make do. Again, apologize that I can't be there. It's kind of a crazy couple of weeks where I've got things going on that I wasn't planning on. So now I will catch up with you guys again sometime during the week. If you need anything, please let me know, and I will talk to you later.